Hi, I'm Erica from AccuQuilt, and I'm with Edith Sitar, and we're going to talk about this die before us.
Yes, thank you for having me, Erica. We're going to talk about our first die in a wonderful new selection of dies from our Cube Serendipity. I'm so excited about this new product from AccuQuilt. This die is flower shapes, and it has a variety of beautiful flowers. I have a one right here with nice 6 low curves on it. You have circles that you can create beautiful berries and center of a flower. On this die you also have a star, and quickly by just adding a center you're gonna have a star flower. A petal surrounding a circle gives you a wonderful daisy. There is also a small low flower that is going to be wonderful for many different projects for you. Let's start with the heart shape on this die. I can't wait to show you what to do with it.
Well, I think I'm going to fall in love with this little mini quilt already because this heart is adorable.
I'm so excited about it. So we have our die. We're gonna need some fabrics. For our new cube, I like to collect 6-inch squares. As soon as you buy a fat quarter, cut a 6-inch squares from it and start stacking them up and be ready to cut with the new dies from AccuQuilt.
That's a great tip.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yes.
And I always do that because the 6-inch fits perfectly on it. Yes.
Perfect.
And I have a nice selection of batiks here, and we're gonna work with those, but you can also collect wools, 6-inch squares to cut with those dies. Oh, some wonderful projects ahead.
Really fun.
For this small heart, I would take my square and I cut a 2.5-inch square from it. That's
Okay.
right here. And then I also gonna need some background fabric, and those are 3-inch.
Okay.
I like to use fusible webbing for my applique, and then this heart would be a great candidate for that. So I placed a fusible webbing on the back of my fabric, and you can use all different variety of fusible webbings and follow the manufacturer direction on the fusible webbing. In this case, I'm using lightweight heat and bound, but you can use Wonder Under, Steam Machine 2 Light. There is a great variety of fusible webbings. And I want to show you something super special. Our first heart, I'm gonna cut it, and you can place all the shapes are symmetrical, so you don't have to reverse them. So placing the fabric this way or this way will not change which way, the shape will go. So in this case, I'm gonna put my fabric down. I'm gonna place my wonderful little mat. The mat is also included in your cube, what it's great if it's perfectly. And let me cut with my Go Baby. I love cutting, and you can layer as many 3-4 layers of fabric, and your shapes are cut in no time. Look at this sweet little heart that I have for you.
Adorable.
And now what you need to do is you're going to take your shape, you gently crease a corner, and you're gonna peel the paper away to prepare for your applique. Erica, would you like to do it?
I would love to.
In the meantime, I want to show you a little trick. When I'm cutting multiple shapes from my dies, I like to take the paper off right away. Why? Because that way I'm not dulling my scissors, my wonderful die with the paper, but also I don't have to peel individual shapes, the paper away from them. So what I'm gonna do is just place my
What a great tip again.
Place my cut, and as soon, that way I'm skipping that step of cutting, pulling the paper away.
The little pieces.
So let me do that, and look at this. I have my shape beautifully cut, ready, set, go.
And we're ready to go.
Yeah. Now we need a little bit of a background. Here, one background for you.
One for me.
And yes, make sure you use your AccuQuilt dies with your friends. Invite them over, and you girls can cut and applique together.
We're just going to do a little press.
We're going to use this iron and fuse it down. I have one block fused down right here, and in this moment we have to decide which kind of stitches we're going to use around the edges, how we're going to secure our applique in place. And I have some hearts a little bit bigger prepared for us right here, so that way we can go over those.
Okay.
Our first hard, and you can maybe see the stitches a little bit better around it. Our first hard, what I did is I used a zigzag stitch and I used an invisible thread nylon.
Okay.
You can use polyester invisible thread. There is a great variety of threads. I'm gonna use a cotton thread in a bobbin. That's on the back,
so
yes,
on the back,
right
okay.
here. And I like the 2370 because it matches great with the background.
It really does.
And it stays really nice. I'm going to use a Macrotex needle in my sewing machine.
Okay.
I'm gonna set my sewing machine on a zigzag stitch and I'm gonna lower the tension down to, I go just about 1.
Okay.
Because I don't wanna pull any of the thread to the top. And I'm
Okay.
gonna create a small zigzag, staying around the edges. You can see the
Beautiful.
size of a zigzag. It should be just about 1/8 of an inch because you wanna secure 1/8 of the edges, 1/8 of an inch around the edges of your applique and have a wonderful block finish. This technique and this thread works great for wall hanging and table runners. It is a little bit stiff. When you want to do a baby quilt, I recommend a cotton thread on the top and in a bobbin. And Orfil has a great variety of cotton threads. And in this case, I'm matching a nice yellow to my yellow heart.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use the same technique, a zigzag stitch and stitch around it. This time my tension stays the same because I'm not worried that I'm gonna bring any thread from the bobbin
okay.
because the weight of the thread is very similar.
Okay.
So once I finish my stitching around, I'm ready to put this block into my quilt. Always remember when you finish, leave the thread long enough that you can pull the threads to the back and then weave them through the back of the stitch, or you can just grab them and secure them right here in the back with a touch of a glue. Another stitch that it's available on a sewing machine that will work great, and I think you like that one.
I do. This is my favorite.
Yeah, it's the blanket stitch. So with the blanket stitch, you're giving a little bit more decorative look to the block and then stitch all the way around. And you don't have to match the thread. You can choose a little accent. So for blue, a little orange or yellow, and then you can follow the color wheel. Opposite colors on a color wheel give you a nice idea and a clue what color to use. Another option could be the raw edge applique. Oh, don't worry, we have a one hidden in the back of our packet.
Okay.
So that one is a raw edge applique, and with this option, we're going to stay 1/8 on the inside of our applique, and we're just using a straight stitch, stitching all the way around. All the edges will be raw. Eventually, they lift up just a little bit and give a three-dimensional look to the project. If you love stitching with your machine, in the cube, we have included an embroidery CD that feature 21 designs. With those designs can be stitched with 3 different options on stitches. It is a wonderful way of practicing, and if you're making a small quilt, choosing all different stitches around it would be a fun thing to do.
What a great way to use your embroidery machine.
Isn't it great? So, like I said, that CD is included in your cube and it's part of the whole package, and it works with 21 different shapes. Once you have your blocks complete, you're gonna sew them into rows, push the seam allowance in opposite direction. When you're sewing rows together, press all the seam allowances, quilt in a ditch, and put a binding. And in this case, because I decided to use this little quilt as my wall hanging, I did not even stitch around my heart. I just fused them down, enjoyed my little quilting, and did what AccuQuilts allow me to do, quilt MOA when I save time on cutting.
Well, I know I'm in love with this one for sure.
Oh, thank you so much, Erica. Can't wait to show you other projects you can do.
Let's get going.